cause it's deep in our bones. A tri-chord quest with this hip-hop Jones. So sit and analyze a lyrical spray, cause all it really is wordplay, wordplay.
What up, y'all? We coming right on back with another episode of Wordplay. That's right, boy. That's right, boy. Two at a time. He knocking them out, baby. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Bam. Oh, it's out, baby. Knockout time. Episode number 8. That's right. Wordplay number 8. So this episode is going to be slave words number 2. So we already did King's English number 2. This is slave words number 2. We've talked about how this world has been a slave society since the beginning. It's the oldest economy. Everything puts you in the mentality of slavery because it wants to keep you subservient, wants to keep you down, and keep that rise energy, that energy of fuck this shit. It wants to keep that suppressed. So slave this, slave that, words hidden in slavery. So you saw in the first one, we had a lot of those slave words. These are just words that kind of, those words were kind of words that they used to kind of to basically box you into certain corners because you don't know the energy of those words. But we're going to be using words today that actually mean slave. These are just words that we use every day. We did some of those, but now we're going to get really into those and see a lot of how the everyday words we use actually literally mean slave, all right? So before we do that, I want you guys to get on over to the Patreon channel, patreon.com/Reelnagas, because I did release 2 word plays. So if you're looking at one of these, that means you weren't fortunate enough to see the other one, and you need to get on over to Patreon and check that one out. So wordplay number 7 is on patreon.com. So if you want to check that one out, that's the King's English Part 2. I know if you're on the Reelnagas channel, it seemed like we skipped to number 8. We did not. Number 7, the King's English number 2 is on the Patreon channel, so you got to go and subscribe to that. Remember, the lowest subscription is only $2, so I don't want to hear any excuses about you don't have the money. $2, you got $2. You spend $2 without even thinking about it every day, probably every hour. So get on over and subscribe if you want this information, because I need you guys to help me bring it to you, all right? Also, subscribe to the Reelnagas channel. Click that button right on down there, subscribe, so you get all the information as soon as I put it out. And get on over to Reelnagas.com. Get your Reelnagas gear today. I know you guys have seen the Face of the Dragon documentary. I appreciate all your feedback on that. And also, if you guys now that I put it on the Reelnagas channel, please share it as much as possible. And I also want you guys to look at part 3 of Face of the Dragon. I need to say this so much. Most of you guys are watching part 1 and part 2. You have to watch part 3. Part 3 brings everything together. I'm explaining the movies at the end of part 3, all the symbolism within the movie, but you have to watch and see the symbolism that they're releasing to you in the movie. I know you may think, oh, I'm watching the movie, I don't know what I'm getting, or I don't know what I'm watching, and these are older movies, but I don't know what y'all tripping on. That Dragon Slayer movie is really off the chain. So get on into part 3, chapter 3, and watch all 3 parts of chapter 3, 1, 2, and 3, because that's the most important part of the documentary. If you guys don't see part 3, you're gonna be left out. I mean, you're gonna get a lot of the gist of what I'm trying to say, but part 3 brings it all together. So get on over there and watch that, and get to Reelnagas.com, because you guys are gonna wanna represent that energy once you truly find out who you are, that you are the dragon and the phoenix, all right? That is not bullshit, that is not hyperbole, that is not fantasy. You are these mythological creatures known as the dragon and the phoenix. That is an absolute fact. All right, I put it in that documentary for you to see. If you don't know by now, then I can't tell you. You're T'Challa and Killmonger. Get it up. And make sure you guys get over to GoFundMe.com/Copstopguardian, because we still need you guys' help. We're going to get that app out. If you don't want to subscribe to Patreon, which part of that money will go to the app. If you don't want to do that, you just want to donate to the app just straight out, please get on over to GoFundMe.com/Copstopguardian and do that. We need all of the funds right now. Right now! We need them all. You gonna help. All right, so with that said, let's get into this episode of Wordplay, episode 8. This is Slave Words Part 2. Boom. All right. right? So, the first word we're putting in here is what? Slave. What else? What's a slave? Everybody knows slave is, right? But most people think you know what slave is. But I'm going to do the technological breakdown or the etymological breakdown of what a slave is, because most of us think we know what a slave is, but we don't truly know. So what is a slave? All right. A slave was someone who was put in servitude from the land of Slovakia. Okay, used to be called Czechoslovakia, but now it's Slovakia. All right, and so that's where you get the word slave. It comes from the Slavs, Slovakia. Okay, and who lives in Slovakia? Those are mostly Caucasian people. Okay, that lets you know that Caucasians were the first slaves. All right, these are the first people who were put in bondage. And that was done by us, the Moors. Yes, I'm sorry to tell you, we did that. But these people were put in servitude so much that servitude became named after them. Okay, that's how ill it was. So a slave, truly, the etymological definition of slave is someone from Slovakia who was put in servitude. But that became so prevalent, so many of them were put into servitude, that slave or Slavs became the actual name of servitude. All right, so that's what one is. A slave is one who is put into servitude, the absolute servitude or control of another. Okay, you are not of your own power or will. You are being willed and you are being powered by someone else. Okay, you are being told what to do. All right, so slave, master, be one or the other. Next word. So our next word is a greeting, or actually an Italian goodbye. I think I've said this many times in the other one, but we're gonna touch on this just now. If you've watched my documentary, The State of Things, and you should have watched that by now. All of you should have watched that documentary and you should have shared it with everybody. The State of Things, or Slavery, The State of Things, explains a lot of that stuff in there. We're gonna touch on it now for this episode of Wordplay. So what does ciao? Okay, ciao. Ciao bella. Okay? Most people think that means goodbye, beautiful. You know what I mean? That's the Italian greeting. Ciao. Ciao. Oh, you mean ciao. You know, you women say ciao all the time. Okay? So, ciao, when those slave words, means I am your slave. Okay? Remember, everything is slavery. Sorry, everything goes back to slavery. So, back in the day, these are the words that they put into regular parlance because they hold that same vibration and energy, whether you know it or not. This is why we do wordplay, so that you can understand what vibration these words were created with, so that you can go out there and change these definitions, these vibrations. So, ciao means I am your slave. Literally, that's what it means. You are declaring that you are someone else's servant. I am your slave. Now, depending on who you're saying that to, you may want to say it. If it's a fine, beautiful woman who embodies the energy of the universe and she's your queen, man, go ahead and be that woman's slave. Ain't nothing wrong with that. She gives back to you, you give back to her. However, if it's not that person, no child. All right? No, you are their slave. That is not what you want to be. All right? So, ciao, I'm your slave. We don't do slavery around here. Next word. So our next word is robot. Robot, I am robot. I am out of control. So, is a robot a machine? Most people think robot is a machine, that's automated machine that can move by itself and do everything. That's what a robot is? Absolutely not. A robot is a slave. It literally, that's what the word robot means. Robot literally means slave, someone of service, who is in service to another. All right, robotos. That's where it comes from. Means slave. So, another word they put in the regular, threw it on out there to you, you jump right on it. Everybody doing the robot. Everybody was doing the robot in the 70s. That's why I did this little, Michael Jackson kicked this little slaving off. Alright? So, robot is a slave. It's a metal servant. It's an extension of something that you want to serve you. Okay, that needs to serve you. So it's an artificial intelligence that serves you. However, a robot, period, was not applied to artificial intelligence. It was applied to people. Robotos means slave, servant. Okay, don't be anybody's robot. Next word. So our next word is boss. You a boss. I'm a boss, homie. So that partner, we ain't no boss around here. You don't know how many women use this. I'm boss lady. Oh, I'm a boss lady. Now, if you're trying to be a boss, absolutely. If you have a boss, So if you go over to Patreon and subscribe, and you check out the King's English Part 2, you're gonna see we went over a couple of words, employee and employer. So this word boss, same type of word. Boss means master. Okay, it comes from the Dutch baas, it means master. Okay, that's all it means. Again, we're in slave and master. So either you are the master or you are a slave. As my boy Shonuff once said, who's the master? Shonuff, the Shogun of Harlem. Get out there and watch that movie, people. That is an awesome movie. Bruce Leroy, what's up, baby? But Shonuff was beating that ass for a long time because he knew he was the master. So get out there, get your gold glow on, get your red glow, whatever you need to be. But don't be anybody's slave, be the boss. Okay, don't have a boss. Next word. So this next word, people actually think this is what a slave is supposed to do. Okay, so this is actually one of these words that actually has been flipped. It didn't actually have a negative connotation or a definition at the beginning, but it flipped its connotation. Remember, connotation, denotation. Connotation, fake meaning. Denotation, real meaning. So its connotation has taken on a flip from what it actually meant. So this word is obey. All right, you better obey me. Hey, boy, if you don't obey me, I will slap the taste out your mouth, partner. Hey, girl, you're supposed to obey. I love, honor, cherish, and obey. Martin has a great little line about that. He's obey. when him and Gina gets ready to do their vows against each other, and he goes over and the preacher goes over, obeys his love channel, and obey. Martin, obey. All right, obey though does not mean to do what I say. That's what most people think obey means. That means, hey, if you don't obey me immediately, I will put this size 14 up your butt so far that you will have shoestrings coming out your nostrils, partner. That's not what obey means. Obey means to listen. That's it. That's all it means. There's no other meanings whatsoever. It only means to listen. All right? So when you get into marriage and you say, I love, honor, cherish, and obey, I promise to love, honor, cherish, and obey, all you mean is I promise to listen to you. I mean, I promise to do what you say. I promise to hear you out, though. You know, I'm not just gonna cut you off and act like what you have to say is some bullshit. I'm going to listen to what you have to say and evaluate it. Okay? So obey means to listen. So all you brothers out there who married and you think that your woman is supposed to, you the head of the household and you the big dog, the big kahuna, you guys are equal. All right? She doesn't obey you, you don't obey her. You guys are equal. Or on the connotation. She doesn't do what you say, you don't do what she says, but you guys do need to obey each other in the actual sense. That means to listen. All right? That doesn't take anything just to sit down and listen. What she has to say, what he has to say. And that's the true definition and meaning. And if you get on that, you'll be good to go. Next word. So this next word, you usually see this person when you go to a fancy hotel. If you've never been to a fancy hotel, then you've probably never seen this person. Sucks for you. However, all you high-flying sedity cats who able to get out there and get the nice hotels, you know a hotel usually has something called a concierge. Okay? Now that's pretty much evident in this kind of, you call down to the concierge desk and the concierge, whatever you need, the concierge will handle for you. He'll say, if you need this, he'll tell somebody to do that. If you need towels, he'll tell somebody to send somebody the towels. You need this. Concierge handles your business for you. Whatever you need, the concierge handles. Alright? So, what is a concierge? Okay, a little fancy ass French word, but concierge means fellow slave. Okay? You a slave? I'm a slave. We fellow slave. We slave together. Alright? So, fellow slave, that's what kind. I'm just showing, I threw this word here to show you how deeply ensconced and embedded these slave words, these mentality of slave words are in the culture, okay? So you need to know this so you can get that bullshit out of your head and start saying the correct things, being on the correct vibration, because if you don't free your mind of all this bullshit, you'll constantly be in a slave mind, and you cannot do anything when you're in a slave mind speaking slave words. So get out of this mentality, understand what's out here, and get your word game up. This is why I am here with wordplay. Next word. So this next word is the literal term for slave, and that word is service. Okay? Service. Everybody thinks they're altruistic, and they're trying to be you're such a humanitarian when you're in the service of others. When you serve, I serve the world, I serve my government, I serve. Get the fuck out of here. The word serve, literally, it's Latin. It comes from Latin, service, servus. It means slave. As literally as the definition, the Latin definition, the Latin word is the word service is Latin. It comes from servi, means slave. That's it. So when you're in the service of somebody else, it means you are a slave. Alright? So you understand it. Now, to serve someone when the energy is equal, that's not a bad thing. When we're in a give and take, you know what I mean? That's not necessarily service. Service is you give and somebody else receives. That's what service is. But when both people are giving, it's an exchange. Okay? No one is a slave to anyone else. No one rules anyone else. We're both freely giving of our energy to each other. So no one is in service of each other. We are both exchanging, freely giving. Okay? It's not service. I give to you freely. I don't serve you. I freely give to you. Alright? That's the energy that you want to embody, not some service. I'm in the service of God. I'm in the service of... Get the fuck out of here with that. So stop living down here and elevate your consciousness. Okay? When your consciousness elevates, your life will start to elevate. But as long as your consciousness lives on the low, so will your life. Okay? That's the way it is. Elevate this, everything else elevates as well. Alright? So get on your game. Next word. Our next one goes right along with we were talking about obey. When you get married, you become a man. When you're a man, you become what? A husband. Alright? What is a husband? We've touched on this before, and that word only means house bond. You're bonded to the house, meaning a slave. Same thing. If you watch Game of Thrones, you know that there's many houses. So these houses are big giant families who own land. They're nobles. So it's the House of Lannister and the House of Tully and the House of Stark and all these different houses. But on their land, all these different nobles, they have land. They have what they call vassals on their land, and these vassals, they owe fealty to the noble who owns the land, right? So what would happen is, or the person, so you can have different vassals, families of vassals. You can have different families who live on the land. So the head of that family was called the house bond because he's bonded to the house who owns the land, the family house who owns that land. Okay, he can't leave. He's a serf. Okay, he's bonded. Okay, so he's like he basically becomes like a foreman. He watches over the rest of the people on that land who's in his what's called. And so family, as you remember, I think that we did that on the first one. So remember, we did the etymology on family, and it comes from the word familus, and it means the number of slaves under one household. So the husband or house bond was bonded to the main noble family who owned the land, and he was in charge of the family or the number of slaves under the house. Okay, so husband, house bond, synonymous with slave. All right, and a wife, you guys didn't even have much of a status back then. You guys, wife just only meant woman. So that meant you were the concubine. You were just the woman of the husband. Now you could have been his the mother of the family in the house, but you didn't necessarily have to be. It only meant his woman. Okay, so you guys were on even a lower kill than that. So remember, everything goes back to slavery: husband, wife, house bond, and woman slave. That's all it means. Next word. So the next word is marriage. If we have a husband and we have a wife, then they have to have a marriage, right? So that word marriage actually comes from wed, okay? But it was wedlock, okay? That's why it's called wedlock, because you are in what? A contract, okay? It's slavery. That's why I call it the ball and chain. You are locked up now, wedlock, all right? Always remember that. So a marriage is really it's not between the two people, the husband and wife. A marriage is a contract that you guys have where you two agree to abide by the government, the law of the government, okay? Whereas the government will rule the union of you two. Always remember, okay? You need to remember that. A marriage is not between you two, it's between you two and the government. That's what a marriage is. Otherwise, it's just wedlock, okay? And wedlock was, it was more so of a way to an obligation of two families. It was more of status. Okay, a wedding was more about status. It had nothing to do with love and anything like that. If one family was powerful, another family was powerful. You had the two noblemen of those families. They would promise their daughter and son in marriage or wedlock. So they would lock and merge the two families. So then those two families would become one. And now we are more gangster together than we are apart. I'm telling you, if you want to learn about a lot of this stuff, you have to watch Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is throwing out all of this old feudal system, the feudal system law. It's bringing it right back on up. So how everything was in the feudal system, the vassals, the lords, the king, and all that stuff is in Game of Thrones, and it's actual real history. So you can learn, you can super speed your knowledge on that type of stuff if you watch Game of Thrones. And it's just a damn awesome show, just so you know. But again, marriage is a contract between you and the state. Wedlock is really the contract between you and your wife or your husband. But it was a contract to obligate the two families, because we're merging two families of high resource. We're bringing those two together. Otherwise, it served no purpose. Back in the day, we don't give a shit if you love each other. What's that gonna do? We can't go buy no bread with love. So remember what it is: marriage, wedlock, contract. One between you and the government, the other between you two. Next word. This next word doesn't necessarily have anything to do with slavery. It's just a word that you guys use every day that I'm sure you don't know the meaning of, because the way you use it and the way everyone uses it thinks it bestows great fortune upon you, and that is not what it is. And this word is blessing or bless. Okay, when you sneeze, somebody bless you. All right, blessed be the Lord. Blessed be you, say thy God. Peace and blessings. How many of you Hotep cats, all you knowledgeable cats, you say peace and blessings? I know I used to say it all the time. I'll leave it on my greetings. If you guys have ever contacted me, you guys have probably you donated to Copstopguardian, you've seen I send back peace and blessing. However, I know what it means. I know what I'm saying. You don't. All right, so the word blessing or bless, it means to be marked with blood. Literally, bless means the same word as blood. Okay, so when you're blessed, it was supposed to be covered in the blood of Jesus. That's what that was about. Okay, marked with the blood of Jesus, the Lord God Jesus. All right, but that's all it meant, to be marked with blood. All right, so unless you into some old blood ritual stuff, blessed don't mean what you think it means. It literally it produced the word blood. that word bless produced the word blood, just so you know. So again, this is to understand what you're talking about, what you're saying. When these words, these vibrations are coming out of your mouth, you think you're bestowing some good fortune upon somebody. When you say bless you, oh man, you're going to receive your blessing today. God has a blessing for you. Oh my, you don't even know. God has so much blessings for you in the future. Oh, I need to receive my blessings, man. Oh, I just need my blessing. Man, all you talking about is being covered in blood. That's it. You dump some blood out. The old movie Carrie, where they dump the pig's blood out. That's a blessing. That was literally what blessing was. So get out of the dumb mind state. Understand what you're saying. I will say it over and over again until you do understand what you're saying. All right. Next and last word. So our next and last word of words, and this is not necessarily a slave word per se, but it's the mentality of what this word has become a slave mentality. All right. And so that word is zombie. All right. How many of y'all, I know y'all seeing zombies all over the place. All right. What was that movie with Brad Pitt? I forgot what all the zombies took over everything. You got the Walking Dead on I forgot that channel, but you got The Walking Dead. You got 50 million zombie movies. There was a movie called Zombieland. That's a funny movie. If you guys ever get a chance to watch, that's a pretty funny movie. But zombie all over the place. What does it mean? The Walking Dead. Everybody's scared of zombies. You got zombie survival camps. Right now, you could go online and there were people who would teach you how to survive in a zombie apocalypse. This is how ill it is. There's a joke that these brothers played on their little sister who came out of surgery. She was getting Novocaine, and she came out of the haze of Novocaine, and as they were driving home, these fools made a fake news tape saying that there was an outbreak and zombies had started taking over everything. And so to please get into a safe place and lock your doors. And this girl was scared as hell because she was still on coming off of that Novocaine, and she didn't know what she was. She thought the world was being taken over by zombies. So zombie. Everybody's scared of zombies. What is a zombie though? Zombie is one of those fucked up words that they've taken from us, melanated, the Moors, and it was a high word, and they flipped it. Word zombie was, or a zombie is a serpent god. Okay, and as we went over before in the different episodes, the serpent, and in the Face of the Dragon documentary, the serpent represented higher knowledge. Okay, it goes back to serpent, the serpent snake on the third eye. All it represented was higher knowledge. Okay, you were able to see. You're opening up your third eye, the Uraeus, the serpent symbol on the third eye. So the snake god, it was a snake god of ours, which meant he was just enlightened. It was someone who was enlightened, and they literally flipped it to someone who's walking dead. Okay, we used to be enlightened zombies, gods, and now they turned us to people who are just walking dead. Do you see how fucked up that is? Do you see how ill the science is behind it? They take something so high, on such a high plane, and this is not by accident. They take something that is a god. A zombie is a god. It's a snake god, a voodoo snake god. And they literally dropped it all the way down to somebody, a walking dead person. Someone's walking around with no consciousness. Who is that? Wonder who they're talking about. Since the other zombie was you, the god, the snake being, the higher knowledge god, the third eye god, that was you. So who are they talking about walking around here with no conscience? Could that be you also? I think so. So again, please break yourself from these different words, these different slave mentalities that they have put upon you. I implore you, I super implore you, all right, to do so. That's another word. If you go over to the King's English on Patreon, you'll check out that word employee and see what that word means. Okay, that falls right on in line with what we're talking about now. But zombie, okay, zombie is a very high vibrational word that they've taken and they tried to lower the vibration. The vibration of it is still high if you understand what it means. But if you don't, you fall right on along with that low vibration, the walking unconscious. Okay, that's what the walking dead means. If you're walking, you can't be dead, right? So if you got no money, you're mindless. That's what that means. A mindless walking person. And that's what they're really trying to turn the world into, because they understand who you used to be, and this is who they want you to be. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the bull crap. Don't fall for the flip. You are zombies, but understand a zombie is a high god. It's a serpent god. When serpent meant you were enlightened. Okay, it represented that third eye of higher consciousness. Regain that third eye higher consciousness so that you can implement that power once again in your life and into the world. All right, because we need that shit. We need that shit like a motherfucker, boy. We need it. We need it. All right. So get out there and save your people. All right. And that will be the end of this episode of Wordplay. All right. Thank y'all for showing up. Please, please, please subscribe to the Reelnagas YouTube channel. Also get on over to the Patreon channel. That's patreon.com/Reelnagas. I'll put it in here for you guys down here so you can check it out. But please get on into that so you can subscribe and get the videos as soon as I put them up. My next documentary will be a documentary of symbols. I was going to throw the Are You Black or Greater Than That? That's a bigger documentary. It's turning out to be a little bit bigger, so the next one, the medium one, is going to be the documentary or the series on symbolism. Okay, so we're going to show you all these different symbols that they have around and show you what the true meaning of these symbols are. The square, the pyramid, the Exxon symbol, the Facebook symbol. All of these different things, they mean something. All right, so we're going to put all these different symbols, this line, all of these different things, these sacred geometry, all of this shit means something. Okay, they didn't just create it. So we're going to dive deep into it, figure out what these different symbols mean so that you can apply them to your life and get the same type of power. But that will be on the Patreon channel. Sorry, YouTube, my YouTube peoples, my YouTube brothers and sisters, kindred. If you want to get that knowledge, please get on over to Patreon and subscribe. Also, if you want to donate, you don't want to subscribe and have your part of your money go to the app. Just if you want to give to the app straight out, please go on over to GoFundMe.com/Reelnagas and hook us up or help us to help you, because in 2018, this has got to pop. All right, this is something new and innovative that will help save lives, and we're going to do it, and you're going to help. I will keep saying it until it happens. If you understand that science, then you know what I'm doing. Until that time comes, I'll holler at you later.